Welcome to another episode of Prepper Talk Radio, radio for the ready-minded, the podcast for the prepared with your hosts, Scott, Shane, and Paris. Myself, super excited to be here with you guys tonight on the live. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and as soon as this platform allows us, we'll be live as many places as we can go. Scott, are you doing any live on your TikTok like you were last week?
I was going to, but we're running so tight on this, I haven't launched it, so I probably should.
Yeah, maybe you can bring that up. So if you're on TikTok or have a TikTok, you want to go watch us over there too, that'd be awesome. So we have a show. We're going to talk about prepping fatigue. And so we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to dive into that. Before we do that though, I just want to make sure that you take a few minutes to go to our website, preppertalkradio.com, and look at all of our resources. Check out the resources tab. Across the top, you'll see, when you go to the website, across the top, you'll see different things that we recommend. One of the things that we recommend right now is, of course, our new opportunity to save money on products that we're already buying and switching, and also an opportunity to make some passive income. You know, there's a huge opportunity right now. I believe more than half of Americans are looking at side hustles or working side hustles to be able to make extra money. And so we would love to have you take a look at that with us. And that's preppertalkradio.com/good life. And they'll give you all the details there if you want to go and check that out. Also, our good friends at Jase Medical, Jase, Jase Medical, we would like for you to go there if you need any antibiotics or if you need any routine medicines that you'd like to have a stash. My next door neighbor has said one of his big concerns was his wife has some medicines and they don't have a stash. So it's important to have a stash of medicines that you can get. And if you can get them on that site, it's worth getting them. And if you use code Prepper Talk, just Prepper Talk, you'll be able to save some money. So use that code when you check out and save yourself some money and support the show. So guys, let's talk about prepping fatigue. I know this was, we had our chat. We were talking about different things. We had 2 or 3 different topics and we settled on prepping fatigue for tonight. And so we want to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's perfectly appropriate right now, especially just what's happened in the past few days. You know, we look back the past couple of weeks and all this, we talk about all the crap that's going on. I mean, even our last live and last podcast is just, there's just so much going on. And then all of a sudden Trump goes out to the Middle East and we have an agreement supposedly with China on the tariffs and all this good stuff's happening. And hey, this is all over. Let's, you know, it's happy days again. Right. And I hear people talking about, well, you know what? I think right now is a perfect time to start a business. And then, so how does that make us preppers feel? Like, are we doing this all for nothing? You know, is this, this is stupid. I mean, like
doing all this
here, like, okay, who has gold? Are they selling it because it's going down? No way.
Well, I thought we were doing all this for nothing. I guess I'm in the wrong place.
It's the opposite, right? We don't do it to make money. We do it to waste money, right?
Well, okay, let's roll back in history a little bit. In our lifetimes, remember the Y2K scare? Oh no, yeah. All the computers are going to die. We're going to lose all the internet. We're not going to be able to do any business. Everyone's going to be thrown into the Stone Age. And I was like, okay, right? Because I'd already been doing this for a while. And that came and that went. And they're like, the last minute, they're like, hey, we got a hack. We just fixed the clocks. It's all good. In all of the operating systems, we're happy. Okay, cool. Like, did they just not expect like the world to continue? And a lot of people got into prepping and then they got out, right? And then what happened?
Well, certain people got elected and we did the same cycle,
right?
In and out.
Every 4 years, it's a new opportunity. 4 to 8 years, there's a new opportunity to panic, right? We had the housing market crash in 2008, and we had like the .com bubble crash a little before then, and then I mean,
the Ukraine war was huge.
All these different things that stir people up and get them excited to prep, and then nothing happens or not enough happens, and they're like, well, I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore.
I think it's maybe not just excited to prep; they get scared, right? And they realize, I've got to do something. Like we have mentioned this before. We have the Facebook group, right? Emergency Prep and Self-Reliance. And I watch the people who request to be members, and it's always around events. Like when there's a big power outage over in Spain and Portugal, that that week had a whole bunch of people, I mean, that's relative, a bunch, 12, a dozen or more.
Mhm.
And a lot of them commented on why they wanted to join us. Oh, we need to be more energy self-reliant. We're not ready for this, and so forth. And that's one thing I've commented on regularly too, is that most people who are joining the group, and I say most, just over 50% or so, say they're not prepared and they have a long ways to go and so forth. Just kind of some, buttons we put in there that people can click for the reason joining the group. And it ebbs and flows. Like this week, nobody so far, right? Because all is well again. I mean, you look at what's the news with Russia, Ukraine? It's supposedly talking about a peace deal, right?
They're going to
And
sit
then-
down and
And
talk.
Pakistan and India created
Pakistan
some kind
and
of a
India,
peace
they
deal.
said, okay, war's over.
We went from a
What?
tariff sorry. We had a tariff with China at 135, and now it's down to 25. So
I think it's 30. Something
30.
like that.
Okay, yeah, I knew it dropped quite
Yeah.
quite dramatically. There was also another one that, and these are all temporary. They're like 90-day holds. So
Yeah.
we'll see another surge in 90 days.
Or before, right? Because 90 days is a long ways out, but time flies.
I
the
already
There's a
missed
couple
the
of them that are
war.
long term, and they're 10%. So I think the lowest that the current administration will go on a tariff is 10%. That's just my thought process,
Yeah.
which is still more than a tariff has been historically. Like typically, I think we're right around 5 or 6% average right now. So having a 10% tariff is the minimum now. Like that'll provide. The idea, of course, is there's going to be a transition where we're going to see prices increase. We're going to see some problems like that happening because that initial shock of what's going to happen. And I think some people are taking advantage of it. They're like, "Hey, we're raising prices because of the tariffs."
Oh, they
Hey,
all
you
were.
don't need to raise your prices because of the tariffs. Jack faces.
That's definitely something I saw, is that companies were advertising, take advantage of the price before the tariff comes in. Because I think they were expecting, it's not going to go anywhere. Let's use this to take advantage of the chaos, and so that pulled forward some spending, some buying, right? So this next quarter's, GDP.
I kind of feel like once this thing settles out and these countries start paying their fair share, so to speak, we pay 26% of the world's GDP is from the United States, and we're only 6% of the population. So we pay a disproportionate percentage, frankly. And I don't know that we have to bring it down to zero, but I would definitely feel like it should be closer to, even we cut it in half, that'd be really nice. And then our economy would be better here in America. I think we'd have, we would maybe they could lower the tax rate or some other. I know there's ideas, and we'll see if it actually comes to fruition. I mean, there's a lot of talk. Between said and done, there's a lot of space. Between said and done, there's a lot more said than done. And so we'll see what happens. But if we can have a better tax rate, then we get our money back. We get to keep our money. And so we have more money. Yeah, things might go up in costs, but we have more money to take care of it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I like what WebDad says. He's like, from a long-term perspective, tariffs drive us to be more self-sufficient as a country, right? Individually and as a country, like we make better decisions, we source things better. It's funny because everything that changed in the last, it feels like 24 hours, but probably last 5 days. The thing I miss the most is the India-Pakistan war, because now I'm getting spam calls and fake calls all the time and just fraud stuff all the time on my phone. And I liked having it quiet for the few weeks we had.
Are you paying have a deposit of several $1 million into your bank account because you're somebody who needs to have help?
Nothing yet, but yeah. But like, look at all of this. It's easy to get highs and lows in your life and panic and make decisions based on fear of something potential. But I've always been a prepper for just the simplicity of it, the cost savings of it.
Mhm.
It's been a family mindset that's been ingrained in me, almost beaten into me, that you eat what you store what you eat. You have a 90-day pantry minimum. Like we always focus on a year-long pantry, right? A year storehouse where we've got the shampoos, the soaps, the cleaners, the foods, and water, of course. Not a year supply of water, but at least a month's supply of water on hand and filters to be able to take care of it.
Yeah, and that's where the fatigue doesn't come into play because that's life,
Mhm.
right? That's your lifestyle. Where
Yeah.
where the kind of I mentioned is, with our group, where these people, they come and go, kind of with the, the events, with the,
News
with the
cycle.
media is reporting, with the news cycle, exactly. So that, they say, oh, like the news of the past couple of days been pretty good. A couple other things that came in that, I saw as well that, I wanted to point out. Trump went over to the Middle East and secured over $1.3 trillion in funding of selling arms and who knows whatever else, invested in other investments. Like, well, that's good. That's a lot of money, and of course the markets react according to that. And as the markets go up, people see their 401ks. Oh, look, I'm back up to where I was before the last little downturn, and things are all good again. And then they forget, or they are complacent again. All right. And so I don't know if call that fatigue, but I think fatigue maybe comes in where, those of us who are watching, and all of you who are here consistently, regularly, thank you. We're watching this and we're seeing it. The things progress and then pull back and progress and pull back. And what I mean by progress is, I think all of us on here are pretty real with what we know is going to happen, because we see the signs, we see the trouble the country's in, the debt, and so forth. And so there's only one inevitable outcome, and we want that to come quickly to get it over with, right? So things can correct and let's start over. And I mean, a lot of reasons, right? We can talk about, and we don't see that happen. It gets dragged out, and like, oh man, it's like, again, like Mike mentioned, gold's going down. Are you selling? Oh man, I was so tired of this. I'm just going to sell and get out and forget about it. It's tiring. It's tiresome.
I think another part of that fatigue, though, is just constantly hearing about how these people who've done things that they shouldn't have done,
Yeah.
Fauci, Clinton, are not getting any, like the Epstein. How many times are we going to hear about the Epstein files being
There's going to be
delivered and
arrests
nothing
here
happened?
any day now. There's going to be arrests.
Yeah, any day now for the last 10 years. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it's just that, to me, is some of the fatigue that I'm getting into. It's like, you know what? If you're going to do it, let's
Yeah.
do it. Like,
Yeah.
get to these people, put them in jail, give them their consequences. They're just rewards, So those are some of the fatigues that I'm having, is like people are announcing, oh, it's going to be World War III. No, it's not, like all the sky is falling, Chicken Little, the news media is always, the fear porn and all that stuff. It's like, dude, just take a deep breath. Life continues on. Get ready, get prepared. And when you're ready and prepared, who cares what the news headline says?
Yeah.
You're ready.
Well, and it's funny too, because it's like there's that aspect of it, but then and I face this myself. There was a time I didn't want to prep anymore. Like, lifelong prepper guy here. There was a time that I was like, screw it. And it was the first time Trump got elected. And it wasn't because he got elected. It was kind of halfway through. I just was tired. Like, mostly tired of people asking me, because we'd paused the podcast for a while. I had my second kid, and I was just like, I'm tired of all this garbage. I'm tired of having to help people. So I stopped telling people that what I do. I stopped trying to help people get prepared. I kind of took a hiatus because I was so burnt out mostly from other people panicking all the time and having to be the resource when I was going through some crap on my own life, that I was just like, you know what? I'm done. And I was supposed to help all these other people with church callings and stuff like that to go help get them better prepared. And I'd host events and no one would come. So I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to help you guys.
Yeah.
And when things go sideways, I'm not going to help you then either. I got in a bad funk. And that to me was like the worst prepper fatigue I've ever experienced. I've got times where I'm like, I'm not going to buy anything this month, or I'm not going to restock that or this, or let's wait a little while. But that was like legit prepper fatigue. I think the other fatigue we're talking about is the fear fatigue, right? A lot of prepping fear fatigue, like, oh, you better hurry and do this because the news cycle says so. I'm worried more about the people who just quit prepping because they're tired of it. oh, nothing's happened yet, so why am I doing all this?
So it's never going to happen. You've been saying this forever.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for 10 years. Yeah. And I see those comments all the time.
And that's why I've really tried, since I've gotten right in my head again, I've really tried to just simplify it as, yeah, I was taught all these things as a kid and as a teenager and as an adult. And then once I moved out on my own, I kind of started doing things a little bit differently. I've gone back to the historical ways my family did it. I've simplified, and I've tried to be as I can, the mindset of, if I can fix it, let me fix it before I hire someone else to do it. So that, one, I know how it works. Two, I know how to maintain it. And three, I can do it again. So while things are good, I learn those skills, and I'm trying to adapt those skills into my repertoire, into my quiver, so to speak. But simplifying everything I'm doing, going back to the basics, that's the only way I've found to eliminate prepper fatigue. I started gardening again. Gardening gave me so much peace, being out in the dirt all summer long, all spring, summer, and fall, like fingers in the dirt, toes in the dirt. Getting reunited with the ground has that alleviated a lot of the desire to not prep anymore. It got me going again. Just connecting with the earth, which sounds weird and hokey maybe to some of you, but for me it was the medicine I needed to have my mindset shift back in the right direction and to be willing to help again.
Yeah, and I ask myself, we see a lot of doom and gloom, and that's a lot of people are attracted to that, including myself, right? I want to be justified in my actions, right? All the time and money I've spent. I know I will be, right? And it's just a matter of time, but it's really not about that. It's not about being justified. It's about being comfortable. It's about being secure in my future, my family's future. I don't participate. At least I try not to participate in the ways of the world, right? I don't invest like most people. I don't go to the movies. I don't, go to sports and those types of things. I mean, that's my lifestyle. But where I experience the fatigue, and I don't think it's in the doom and gloom stuff, because most of the doom and gloom that people call doom and gloom is actual reality or really news, true news. Some of it is doom and gloom. Some of it is fear porn. It's like, and it's a lot of speculation, which should be easy to spot for most of us by now, right? We see a portion of what they're saying is news, and then there's a lot of speculation on where this is going, and most of the time that never turns out and goes anywhere. And for me, I've seen that enough to where I don't get tired of that. It's not, I don't have the fatigue that way. I can parse it out and I can cut it up and I can take, okay, this is the news part. This is the portion. This is what I was looking for. I wanted the news part of this podcast or whatever. And that's what I'm mainly interested in, is what's really going on. What's the truth? And I don't think there's anything fatiguing about the truth. So to be labeled doom and gloom or fear porn is, I think, the people who call the names, who call us names, or those who are YouTubers, it's their way of justifying their lack of preparation, right? That's my interpretation.
There's a lot of people that need to realize that, at some point things are going to happen, and we do need to have a lifestyle more than and when it becomes a lifestyle, it's easier to do. I was a zealot for the first several years of my prepping. When I first got the bug, so to speak, I was a zealot, and I wanted everybody. I was like, dude, you got to get this stuff. The end of the world's coming. Jesus is coming back. We need to be ready. I was just going crazy, and people looked at me like I was, what are you? Who are you? And so I realized, I mean, I'm a life insurance agent, as well as a financial coach. So it's hard for me to, I just don't take no for an answer. It's that's, I have resilience in that regard. But I burnt out for a little while, and I was like, you know what? If you don't want to have help, like, I'm not going to force it on you. If you want to die in the whatever natural disaster or the zombie apocalypse, then that's on you, bro. Like I'm here. I'll always be here and ready to go. I think it's important to just remember that, once I don't want to be too high and I don't want to be too low. I want to just kind of maintain a nice pace. And when you have that nice pace, And life is just, like I see things in my yard. I'm like, I should probably have this tool or that tool. We talked about tools on the last episode. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'll put it on the list. It's not like I got to go buy it right now or else. Life is life. I got so many things happening with my family, with my kids graduating. It's like we still got to live in the world. I got business. In fact, I had a big I just wrote a big case for a client just in my business, and it comes. I get the paperwork turned in, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you need to do this 4-hour course for your continuing education that expired." I'm like, "Who's got 4 hours right now to just go crank out this dumb course?" Right? So life, you just got to remember that. Hey, it's okay. It's going to work out. Just keep on pace. Keep the pace. And if you're going too fast right now, and you feel like you're burning out, just slow it back. Just get a little more balanced. Maybe go out to do something fun. Go do something fun with your time. And don't think about prepping to this today or this week, or this weekend. Just go do something fun and recharge the battery. There's some real wisdom in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of those is taking time to sharpen the saw. And I think that's, if you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling burnt out, it's probably because your saw is dull and you just need to spend some time sharpening it.
I've also found another part of that, like sharpening it, is go camping. Like go sit in nature for a couple of days, simplify what you're eating, how you're cooking. Like it renews your skills that you've already acquired, hopefully. Right. And if you don't have those skills, it'll help you get new skills. But like I've found so much benefit to rejuvenate my mind and body by just going and spending time in nature. But if I can do it for camping for 3 or 4 days, it's even better because it completely resets my circadian rhythm. I'm not connected to electronics. I'm not connected to the news feed. I just get to ground myself.
Nice.
And that is all the difference in changing habits and changing focuses too.
And there's I think a lot of burnout comes from cortisol. Work on your cortisol, work on your health, exercise, work on your health, take time to just relax and be part of that. There's things that you can do. And one of the, anyways, go ahead, Shane. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying, as of course, mindset and attitude. I think preppers, preparers, wherever you want to classify yourself, a survivalist, have an overall positive mindset. Anyway, right? We're not negative people. We believe in ourselves. We have faith, right? And so, for my philosophy is, or has been, because I'm in the position to do so, is that, like you say, Parrish, like, this thought came to my mind. There's this tool, or there's just something that I see a need for that. Maybe not right at the moment, but when it hits the fan or whatever, or at this point, I'm going to go ahead and go get that tool, so I have that when I'm ready. Like I've been started to do my own work on my my vehicles, and that has been okay. I'm sitting there working on something, and I'm like, I don't have the right tool. I've got to get up from what I'm doing. I got to run down to the wherever, Home Depot, automotive store, and buy that tool, because I didn't have it at the moment. And so that continues to keep me kind of sharp. We were talking a little bit in the chat here, the tariffs popped up, and especially solar components. They all come from China. You know what? I'm going to step forward my buying a little bit, and I'm going to exercise a little bit of caution. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to get a couple extra batteries, a couple solar panels, some of the components I need, because I can. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. And now tariffs are supposedly back to 30%, which means, I'll probably save some money if this continues to go that way. And now I have a few things that will sit there for a little while until I put them into their own system, the solar components and such, and get that system built, which is going to take me probably 6 months or so just to get to it. So there's a little bit of what's the opposite of procrastination? I don't know what that word would be, but I got ahead of myself a little bit. But I'm okay with that, right? Having that there, having what I need before I actually need it. And so I'm still, nothing has changed. I mean, a couple of days of really good news. nothing has truly changed with the news cycle, other than it's gotten shorter, and our memories are shorter. Like all of a sudden, there's these good things are happening, and Trump's saying good things and inspiring the markets go up, and like I say, 401ks are looking good. So okay, I can take a breath. Nothing's really changed if we realize the truth, if we're looking for the truth. And so that's just something I need to remember and continue just to move forward in my list. I have a list, and I'm working toward that list. And when the time is right, I to move forward on that list.
I think another thing I get a little bit of fatigue on is trying to, like, I recognize that the lifestyle of a preparer isn't just we're prepping for the zombie apocalypse. It's literally like, what if you lost your job tomorrow? Like I have a guy down the road who's lost his job in January and he hasn't found a new one. I don't know that he was as prepared as he could have been for that. And so what is it that you need to be prepared for? And so when I'm out talking to people, it's like, hey, are you, you got your good, like as a financial guy too, I get a little fatigued because I'm like, hey, do you have an emergency fund? Do you have money for savings? Are you still up to your eyeballs in credit card debt? And it's like, oh no, I'm okay. I'm doing fine. No, you're like, if you're not, there's so many people that think everything's great, everything's wonderful. And you're like, bro, I'm telling you, there's a better world. And I'm not saying that I live in every, like there's better worlds. Like, I'm not saying I'm a millionaire with full financial freedom, but I live in a better world than somebody who's got tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt and who's stressed out about how they're going to, take care of it, So it's just, there's a better world. And as I'm moving towards being in my own better world, I'm looking back to try to help people to come. And my frustration is that I want to save the world. I want to save everybody. And I got to remember that I can't, and I'm not supposed to even. And first of all, Jesus is the one who saves everybody, not me. But even if I'm to do a little bit of help him in the effort, I can't. You got to remember, some will, some won't, some wait. So what? Move on next. You know what I mean? And that's hard for me to do. That's hard for me to remember to just let it go, let them have their agency, and move on with my own life and move forward. Because that fatigues me. It gives me a lot of stress to think that, man, if I could just, if I knew the right thing to say, maybe I could help my neighbor, make that move. And so I beat myself up a little bit thinking the reason why they're not preparing is because I haven't figured out the right way to help them. And that can be my downfall. It's a gift to want to help people, but also it's a curse to, feel like you're in charge or responsible for others.
Yeah. And going back on the idea that like our jobs are demanding, our careers are pulling on us all the time. Utah Mike pointed this out in the comment, like this is biggest cause of burnout is employment, right? That bleeds over into every aspect of life, the work that we do, because it consumes so much of our time. And that has absolutely caused burnout for me in so many aspects of my life. I was just unable to show up in a lot of ways because I allowed the burnout to take over everything. So like listeners, you've got to find, whether it's a hobby or whether it's just some kind of like Whited Outdoors says they've now go camping once a month, every month of the year. And that's been life-changing for them. It's been awesome, right? You've got to find something that helps rejuvenate you and keeps you going in all aspects of life. And if you're not, you can call it self-care if you want. You can call it mental health, right? You whatever you need to call it, whatever you need to focus on to get it. Like, you've got to find something to help you feel normal and center you in your life, to help you prioritize your why and why you prep, right? And why you go to work. There's been times when work's so bad, I don't want to show up, right? We all have. But that why, the reason, the need for that money probably outweighs everything else. Well, prepping doesn't work that way because you don't have that instant gratification of, hey, I used all this. I was right. The apocalypse happened. I've been vindicated, right? We all want that. And most of us are looking forward to when that happens so we can be like, look what I can do and outlast everybody else.
And what Parrish pointed out is absolutely true for me as well. And, he had to head off to a family event, and he probably won't be with us next week either. He's got graduations to go to next Wednesday. But he's absolutely right. That was my position, my thoughts as well. Is okay if when you've been warned, you warn your neighbor, right? That's our obligation to do that. And I don't want to say that I felt that so heavily. I felt you just have to do this. You have to. No, that's not how this works. I can't tell anybody, and I don't want to tell anybody what to do. And so that attitude over time in me has changed to where, like, this is what I'm doing. If you want some help, if you want to follow me, great. If not, I've got to the point where I've accepted that. I've come to the realization that I can't help most people. I really can't. I try to make my words as good as possible so that I can convince with love and with my showing my own dedication and my own energy and excitement to say, this is important to me. And I hate to say it, it should probably be important to you, but who am I to say that? Right.
Yeah.
But again, with this, one of the sayings I love the most is preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. And so by my example, and I have thought, I'm trying to retire in the next couple of years. Who knows if that's actually going to happen? A lot of things have to come together. I'm still young, but I don't care. I still want to get out of the system. And so I thought, okay, what am I going to do? Am I just going to build the cabin? Am I just going to garden? Am I just going to, what am I going to do? So I've come up with a list of things that I'm going to be working on, that I'm going to be doing in my air quotes retirement. I hate that word. I call it graduation, right? So I'm working on becoming a handgun instructor, and I'm going to do that in my retirement years, and a few other things. We've got a little business thing going on that we talk about from time to time. Won't talk about it now. But I've come to the realization is, live your own life. And again, also with learning to be this handgun instructor, I can tell them, okay, do it this way. You need to do it this way. I'm teaching you. You come to me to teach you how to shoot this gun. I'm going to teach you exactly how I do it. And if you decide not to take that on and use that technique or how I'm teaching it to you, that's on you. But when you're listening to me, when you're with me and you've paid me or whatever to teach you, this is how we're going to do it during that session. Now, obviously, when I'm trying to push or force, which are not good things, my beliefs, the way I live, onto other people, say, hey, you should consider this way of living as well. That's incorrect. I don't think that's the right way to go about things. And so I have, like Parrish, have resigned. I'm stepping back, say, what, this is what I do. I need to talk. I need to share what I'm learning, my experience with all of you, those who want to listen. And what you do with it is entirely up to you. But, essentially, your blood's off my hands. Like, I'm saying what I'm supposed to say, right? And that's not tiresome. That is not tiring at all. It really isn't. It's not fatiguing.
It falls into not casting your pearls before swine or knowing your audience, right?
That too. Yep.
You will fatigue yourself so hard if you're trying to convince a fish that it can fly, right?
Yep.
It'll never work, and they'll never.
Scott, check your mic.
Oh, is it not working?
It's a little bit, yeah, a little bit up low.
Is that?
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Is that better?
Anyway, a little closer. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds different. Anyway,
I disconnected for a minute. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. But basically, like, the big thing is you cannot waste your effort and energy trying to convince somebody to prep or to change how they live who absolutely doesn't want to. Until they have had an experience that forces them to make that change, you're going to exhaust yourself.
A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
I'm going to work on my mic real quick.
Okay, cool. So let's see what else I want to talk about here. Caught me off guard here, Scott. Let's look at some of these comments here. I know I saw some here I wanted to share. Oh no, this was a great comment. This is what I wanted to share here by Rebecca here. I think one of the reasons people burn out so quickly is that we're trying to catch up for all the time we were living under a rock or being ignorant of what is truly occurring. Absolutely agree, 100%. When I saw that, yeah, absolutely. That's very well said. I definitely look back at my life and look at all the wasted time. Not that, realistically looking back, not that I could have done anything or changed anything. If I could go back, yeah, absolutely I would. But just being in the world and of the world, and my story is, I'd like to think, is pretty good story about me waking up, right? About 2013 when Scott and I met, was just beginning my journey. And a lot of things came together to make it happen. And absolutely agree. I've had to, especially the last 5 years, I've done a lot of catching up because I've had the ability to do so, and I've just felt that really urgent need, and guilt of feeling like, I've been under a rock and I've been in denial and I've been ignorant. Absolutely.
I think what's funny is, like, since we became friends, and this is like for all of you that are listening, you need to find yourself Scott or a Shane or a Paris in your life. Like, you've got to have a prepping buddy, even if you're not able to bug out together or something. Like, you've got to be able to bounce those ideas off each other and have a connection and have someone that helps you feel more normal, because this is real normal. Preparing is real normal. Not prepping, not being a preparer, that's the insanity that sociology has been pushed on us, society's pushed on us, and everyone else is like, oh no, we got someone to take care of that now. You don't need to worry about a thing. You don't. Programs won't save you. Like, sure, you can get a free cell phone when you're homeless, but like, do you really want to trade your house for a cell phone? Like, you've got to look at prioritization in your life, and you've got to look at what's going to keep you normal, what's going to keep you grounded. And Shane was brand new at prepping. I'd been prepping my whole life at that point, and he brought things to my attention that I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. My personal defense and home defense was near zero in skill until I met and started hanging out with Shane, and he really pushed me. We are your prepping buddies, Mike. Absolutely. But not everybody's in the live every week, right? You're one of the staples. The guys that are here right now, a lot of you guys are staples. We feel like we get to see each other all the time. So for those of you who are just listening, we love you too, but we don't get to interact with you as much if you're not in the group or on the live. So I think that's why I say that, is having someone who resonates in the world of prep with you, to talk to bounce ideas off of, to kind of self-check and validate what you're doing or correct if you're going off the rails. That's so vital, and that helps with prepping fatigue big time.
Yeah, and like Mike just said here, this reminded me, because I wanted to say this as well in my last little rant, is I'm hoping to retire in a couple of years, kind of going back to where I was at, trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Because obviously when a lot of people retire, that's, when you're 65, 67, that's when people's health starts to go downhill, right? Because they don't have focus. I mean, I've got a lot to do, but I was, and I think this every single day. I get up early and I work on chores around the house, and I would honestly rather be doing that than going down to my desk and getting back to work, right? Because I work from home, and so I can always be working. I mean, that's just the nature of my business. I could be at my desk as long as I wanted to every single day. And I truly find much more joy and fulfillment about just folding the laundry, doing the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, the counter, those types of things, taking my daughter to school. And I have the freedom to do that because I do work at home. And that is, I truly consciously made that thought and that I won't say decision, but just realized I would much rather, this is what I enjoy doing best, is focusing, like Mike said, focus on family and just taking care of them. Being a dad, I love being a dad and taking care of my kids. I only got two at home still. The others are moved out, married, got a grandkid, one other one on the way. And that is really what I enjoy the most. And if that's all I end up doing in retirement, I'll be perfectly happy with that. I mean, that's truly what drives me. Absolutely. And I guess that's also why I don't get fatigued in prepping as well, because I can see the end from where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if it only benefits my kids after I'm gone, all the better, right? I am perfectly fine with leaving everything I have and not using any of my preps, and that the bug out location is for the kids to enjoy and to survive after I'm gone. I mean, that I fulfilled my purpose.
It's funny because I think of that all the time. Like when I die, if I die, right, I might be immortal. I don't know yet because I haven't died yet.
I tend to think that sometimes too. I'm still unbreakable.
That's a guy thing. Most women are like,
I know.
what is wrong with guys?
Like,
why are you
idiot.
jumping off the building for fun? Because we're guys. We think we're immortal. But like I think about that with my kids. I'm like, they'll have a fresh new year supply of food to divvy up, right? They'll have a bunch of really cool tools. They'll have some pews that we got out of a boating accident and a fishing trip that we found, right? They'll have a lot of really cool things. And most of it's fresh because I rotate so often. I've got some ammo that's a little older, but we'll be spending that soon and replacing it. But living the replenishment lifestyle of first in, first out. You use it, you buy a new one. If I'm not using it, I'm not going to buy new ones for it, right? Unless I feel like I really absolutely have to. But I'm at the point in my preparedness that I've got some things I'm like, I've really got to catch up on. And it's more about the organization and less about anything else because I'm so big about rotating. And guys, if there's one thing you can do to make prepping easier is just think about the simplicity of having that life insurance of preparedness through any hiccup in life. Oh, the car's broke down. Okay, we've got money set aside to be able to fix that. Oh, I broke my leg. I can't go to work for a while. Oh, don't worry. We've got plenty of food to last 3 months, 6 months, a year, right? That's one less thing I have to worry about. Oh, I have a disability insurance to cover that. Great. I have a side hustle that I'm doing that's covering some of those bills, so I don't have to stress about not being able to work for a while, right? I'm able to. I live in a situation where my wife works full time. I work part time, and I homeschool the kids. And my part time gig is I've got a little thing I would work with my wife technically on that one, and then I have my side hustles. I have 2 little things that I'm doing. One of them is working extremely well, and it'll replace my part time job in probably the next 45 days, right? And always looking for something that's bigger and better for your family and bigger and better for your life. It's the kind of thing that I'm going to do for my retirement because I'm not as young as Shane physically, but I'm younger than him in age.
Okay. All right.
He can kick and stretch and kick better than me right now. But like, I just want to be able to go homestead, and I want to do that full time, right? And spend my time teaching my kids, raising my kids, educating my kids. That's the best part of my day right now is working with my kids through their school because they're homeschooled. It's so much fun, and it is absolutely horrible too at the same time because trying to be your kid's teacher is a psychotic endeavor. It is emotionally traumatic because you're getting yelled at all the time. I don't want to do it. You can't make me. Please just read that sentence, right? It's insanity, but it's beautiful. And I don't want to trade that for anything because I get to spend a lot of time with my kids and my wife, and having something that you actually enjoy doing for work and for life. That's what we really need to work on and get better at. Like sometimes that job is just the journey of the broke, not just broke financially, but broke mentally and emotionally.
Yeah. I guess my closing comments about fatigue is I would just say, if you're feeling that prepping fatigue, if you're like, why am I doing this? This is, things are looking good in the economy or, whatever, or whatever it might be. And you have and you see a good positive day and you say, okay, this is a waste. What, I think for me is really focus on why you're feeling that fatigue or that anxiety, and really dive in deep and try to come up with that, where that's coming from, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of anxiety comes from not being prepared for the future, not having a clear vision of the future and seeing where you're going. And I think that's probably where some of this fatigue comes from as well, is not being interrupted in that vision of of your future. Of course, I'm speaking for myself. And so then I just really drill down on those feelings and say, okay, today, why am I feeling discouraged? Why am I feeling fatigued with prepping? And usually I can come up with that reason, or at least a portion of it. And then I can work through that, work past that. And sometimes it's like, okay, I throw my hands up, like I'm going for a hike, or whatever, going for a ride, and clear the mind, and or exercise or whatever. But I think that's important as a prepper, not to just give up, but to hold on to what you know to be true.
Mhm.
And that truth for me is in Scripture, right? It's in faith. It's in everything I've done for the past, my entire life, really. Yes, the past 12 plus years in being, I guess I'd call myself a full-time prepper. But holding on to those core beliefs for me, believing in the Scripture and the things I really know to be true, and not letting the lies and deception of today dissuade me otherwise.
I love that. It's funny. I shared this thing. I'm gonna share it again. For those of you watching, you can see the comments. Andrew, all preppers eventually have ambitions to retire to a full-time job as a farmer. That's, we both do, right?
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as the idea may sound. It's a
No,
lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not retiring. The retirement concept is a fairly new one. And I'm a biblical guy, and I love in the first chapter of Genesis, God tells Adam, he's like, by the sweat of thy brow shalt thou work all the days of thy life.
Yeah.
Right? Or by the sweat of thy brow shalt thou eat all the days of thy life, right?
Eat.
Work to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a micro farmer. I don't want to have 1,000 head of cattle, or as CUCV farmer says, 6,000 heads. Like I'm not that guy. Look at me. I am not that guy. I want to have, I'd like to have a couple cows. I'd like to have some goats for milking. I do not want to go big, right? I don't want to go industrial farming. I want to go micro farm. I want to go hobby farm, right? Lifestyle farming. If you want to call it homesteading or whatnot, but I want to simplify and disconnect from society's normal things. And that's why I'm so big on doing remote work and side hustles. It gives me more freedom and flexibility.
Yeah, like WebDad says here, you want to retire because work's interfering with me working. Absolutely, that's the same with me every day. I've got so much I want and need to do. I've got to retire just so I can do my work.
That's why I need to retire my wife. Right? She's one of those people with huge lists. You've got huge lists. I've got so much to do. My job is interfering with my work. I'm like, yeah, I want to retire my wife this year. That's what I'm doing with my side hustle. Guys, this is the best part of our week, when we get to chat with you guys, hear your stories, and connect with you. Guys, you've got to find your happy medium with prepping. Find your way to release, find your way to reset and re-energize. Because if you're not, you will face, it's just inevitable, you will face prepping fatigue, whether it's the news cycle side or just the why am I doing this side, or getting tired and cranky and be like, I don't want to do it, right? Sometimes you just need a Snickers. Sometimes you just need a meal to get out of that hangry mode and get refocused. So guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. As a reminder, this whole channel, our purpose here is to help you be more ready-minded, and we do it with a centric focus on God, family, and community. That means you. We could not do this, and we would not do this if we didn't have you guys to talk to every week, and you guys who are listening and participating. We learn a lot from you as well as what we share. We are forced every week to bone up and study up on what we already know, and make sure we know it better when we go live and when we do our recordings. Because there's a lot we don't know, and you guys fill in the gaps for us so amazingly. So we want to thank you both. or thank you both, the two of you, all of you. I want to thank all of you for doing that, guys. This episode has been brought to you by us. We found an amazing side hustle that we just want to share with everybody. You can go learn about it over at preppertalkradio.com/good life. I won't spoil it, but I've been doing it for 5 weeks and it pays really well compared to every other little side hustle I've done. It's digital, remote. You can do it online, offline. You can do it however you want. But it's a membership that pays. It is the only subscription I have that actually pays me money every month, and it gets bigger every month. So stoked. I'm new at it, but follow along, join in the journey. It's a lot of fun. And make sure you keep that prepping mode on. Keep the excitement for prepping, your why, front and center, because if you don't, you're going to lose sight of why you're doing this, what you're doing, and you're going to waste a lot of time and money, and you'll wish you could get that back when things go sideways. So till next time, stay ready-minded and keep that head on a swivel.
See you next week.